the Planning Advisory Committee for the town of Quispamsis for Tuesday, September 23rd. With that being, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the changes of flipping 7A and 7B. We'll do 184 Hampton Road first and Steve Ryan second.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Brent. Can I have a seconder on that? Mr. Hatfield, thank you. Can we have a vote on that, please? We got an echo. That motion's carried unanimously. With that, we'll move on to item 3, disclosures of interest. None being, we'll move on to item 4, approval of previous minutes. Any amendments to the minutes? None being, can motions approved? Mr. Goslin.
So move.
Seconder, Mr. Guest.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Can we have a motion on that or a vote on that, please? That motion's carried unanimously. With that being, we'll move on to item 5, business arising from minutes. Can I have a motion to receive and file, please?
So moved.
Mr. Preston, seconder, Mrs. Fowley.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Can we have a vote on that, please? Are you catching up? We're going too fast. Okay. That motion's carried unanimously. With that, we'll move on to item 6, unfinished business. None being, we'll move on to item 7, new business. Item 7A, 184 Hampton Road. Could the applicant please come up to the podium and state their name for the record, please?
Robert Green.
Robert Green. We're going to have Jennifer going to introduce that item for us. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you to the committee members. Before you is a request to operate a restaurant at 184 Hampton Road, a Barbaritos franchise operation. That's 100% Canadian owned and is expected to be a mainly takeout business, but there are some seating available, up to 20 seats available for customers. The establishment would see operations between 11 a.m. and 9 p.m., with the extending of a closing time to 10 p.m. If demand does warrant it. You'd be looking at 5 to 7 employees. The business model does not include the sale of alcohol. And one of the requirements of the bylaw is if the PAC does agree to permit the use, that the applicant would enter into a development agreement with the town. I am available to answer any questions the PAC may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Mr. Green, you would have received the same package we did in the mail. Anything you'd like to add or discuss prior to members of PAC or members of the public asking you questions?
I think everything was covered by Jennifer, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Any members of PAC have any questions for the applicant? Jennifer, you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Any members of PAC have any questions for the applicant? None being, is there anyone in the audience or online willing to speak for or against this item? Is there anyone in the audience or online willing to speak for or against this item? Third and final time, is there anyone in the audience or online willing to speak for or against this item? With that being, would a member of PAC like to put a motion for or against with terms and conditions? Mr. Guest.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I put forward the motion that the Planning Advisory Committee approve the discretionary use of a sit-down and takeout restaurant under sections 12(b) 1E and 12(b) 1F of zoning bylaw number 038, Barbaritos at 184 Hampton Road, Unit 108, PID 249797, subject to the following terms and conditions. 1, the business owner enters into a development agreement with the town, and 2, a development permit and building permit are obtained prior to any construction.
Have a second to that, Mr. Goslin?
Second.
Thank you. Can we have a vote on that, please? That motion's carried unanimously. In 5 to 7 business days, you have your paperwork in the mail. Please work with the town to have all necessary documentation and everything in place, and Best of luck on your new business adventure. Yes. What's the time frame? Okay, perfect.
I've already submitted, my contractor submitted all the applications for permit. I saw that I had to enter in a development agreement. I'm not sure, is there any other things that I need to provide? Or am I good, or?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Since the variance has been approved by the PAC, now the building permit application will move through the process. If other documents are required from the building inspection department as part of that review, they will reach out to you directly.
Okay.
But from my perspective, we're good. The development agreement will be drafted by legal, and then we will contact you to come in and sign.
Can I sign that virtually so I don't have to drive from Halifax again?
Oh. We'll talk with Leanne and get something.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Worked
Thank
out
you, I
for you.
appreciate your time. And you all have a lovely night. Thank you. Cheers.
With that being, we'll move on to item C, or item C, 7B, the Stephen W. Ryan tentative subdivision. Jennifer, you gonna kick this one off for us?
Sure, Mr. Chair, thank
Oops.
you. And through you to the committee members, this is a revisit of the Stephen Ryan amending plan subdivision that we did review at the last meeting. The PAC did request that three things happen: that the LPP be identified on the plan, which it has been, and more so than what was originally thought. Second was for the location of the home where the siting of the dwelling would be on the lot, and that has been provided as well. And the third item was requesting a septic approval for the on-site septic installation. Mr. Silliphant contacted the Department of Public Safety, Justice and Public Safety, and was advised that they do not issue permits on ideas, that it would actually have to be sort of a PID with a house that's being developed. So it's the number of bedrooms, et cetera, that those permits are approved for. So that wasn't something that they were able to provide to him. I would like to highlight that there is additional land for public purpose that's being proposed with this subdivision plan. It was realized that the lot next door to, or the larger lot that's being subdivided, that a portion of that could also be part of the LPP. So we've actually negotiated 6,560 square meters of land that abuts onto Mud Lake, as was explained in my earlier report. That the health of Ritchie Lake, this lake drains into Ritchie Lake, and the idea is that if we protect this area, that in so doing, we'll also be protecting the water quality in Ritchie Lake. So with that, I'll open the floor up to the committee, and I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Jennifer. Mark?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, through you here. Jennifer, I see the proposed dwelling is 10 by 14. I'm assuming it's meters. And saying that, is this 10 by 14 scale to the actual scale of the building, or the building is going to be bigger than what is showing on the plan?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I have nothing to indicate that it is or is not to scale. It was drawn by, I think it's Don Moore. Just gonna get a little, yes, okay, so Don Moore surveys, they, I would expect that they would have drawn those to be to scale, but there's nothing that suggests that for me to confirm. Through you, Mr. Chair. As I explained at the last meeting, there's only a very small area of the lot, 155 square meters at the very top, that is not impacted by the wetland or wetland buffer. So I expect that if approved, the location of the septic would be near to the home, which would be located within the wetland, but will need provincial approvals.
Thank you, Jennifer. I did measure that just now, and it is the scale. So the house is the scale on that property, according to the scale on the lower right, so. Any other questions for Jennifer on this? Brent?
Just a quick question. This piece of property is not, is it considered rural or what's it zoned as? The reason I'm asking, because if it's rural, then it impacts the septic, right? Then it has to be so many square meters.
Through you, Mr. Chair, a rural lot would be an unserviced lot and would be required to be at least 4,000 square meters to meet the requirements of the province for an unserviced lot. Is that what your questioning was?
Yeah, my question, Jennifer, is what's the current zoning of that lot?
The current zoning is R1, but it's
Okay.
an unserviced R1 lot.
Okay.
There is enough land for the home and the septic.
Notice that too, looking at the other house that's beside it. Has there been any issues with the existing house beside it? Or do we know for water or any?
I'm not aware of anything.
Okay.
no.
Oh, go ahead, Jennifer, sorry, cut you off.
In speaking with the applicant, though, he did say that they walked the land and found it to be quite dry for it to be considered
Yeah.
considered a wetland.
Yeah.
But it's been exceptional.
Yeah. Mr. Hatfield?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Jennifer. On one of the drawings, the shaded area for the wetland, is that, how come that doesn't go all the way down to the LPP? Is it just like a squared off section up here? Do we know why? Would it be considered wetland the whole way down? I think it's number.
Yep.
Yeah, it's PDF number 3.
Everything with the grass is wetland. It's hard to
Oh, is it okay?
all this, yeah.
Yeah. Just on this, Jennifer. Do we know any reason why that's shaded, but it doesn't go all the way down?
Yeah, I think that's on the drawing, subdivision drawing, it shows it halfway down.
Okay, I was just curious.
I can get back to you on that. I'll find out.
No, I was just curious on
The
to
ortho?
why. I mean, there's close to a 4-meter elevation drop.
My ortho, where's that? There, oops, sorry.
You can see it. Just a little bit better. So you can see the dividing line.
Yeah,
So Mark, if you go to the ortho, which is item 4, I think.
On 4?
If you go to the ortho, you can see the dotted line a little better on that. I think you want to-
Okay.
yeah, okay, it's below it's back of the property.
No, it comes right up in the top of the property. Right
Where?
here, comes right up to here.
Yes,
See where it says 31.7?
yeah,
So the house is just on the edge of the, well, was it?
and they put their septic back here, but they can get approval to put the septic there, right? Like this house did, I'm guessing. Doesn't show where the wetland is in the other one, that's the problem. We're just approving the lot, not improving the house anyway, right?
You are supporting the development officer in the approval of the lot and providing terms and conditions as you see fit, if that is your wish.
Any further questions for the town on this request? Oh, Jennifer, you want, go ahead?
I just wanted to highlight again the amount of land for public purpose that's being proposed through this process and the importance of that for us in protecting Ritchie Lake. That I think this is a sort of a win for the town, if you will, in gaining that land at the bottom of both of those lots instead of just the one that's being subdivided. I'll leave that with the committee to consider, but from a planning perspective, that it's a good acquisition. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Any further questions from members of PAC to the town? Brenda?
Just a quick question. Jennifer, does Mr. Ryan own that other properties that to be divided, or is it different ownership?
Are you speaking of 50 Chamberlain, the one next door?
Yeah.
So the applicant is Mr. Silliphant, Mr. Joseph Silliphant, and
Okay.
his father, Jeffrey Silliphant. That's Mr. Silliphant.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Jeff Silliphant, Silliphant Holdings Limited.
Okay, perfect. So, Brenda, you had a question?
What about the lands beside it? What are there plans for that? You own those properties around it?
I'm not sure which properties you're
The
talking about.
one that we're looking at
Can I
here.
just go over here then?
Yeah.
Sure.
So I bought 15 or 20 years ago, this whole piece in here was 6 or 7 acres, I don't remember. We built this house 3 or 4 years ago. This house was 2 years ago. And so my son bought this house from the company, so he owns all this now, this year represent him actually. So there was this big piece that was close to 2 acres or whatever. So there's, but we don't own this, so we can't develop over here. It's just this one piece. And I was on the YouTube thing, just listening to this coming here. This wetland area, we squared this off and left this. This would all be deemed wetland right down here. So we squared this one piece off, and we would just end any development at this point. This would all be deemed unusable land, just left with trees. Nobody's gonna touch it, nobody's gonna develop it. And it's, you know, with speaking with Jennifer and Dwight, to keep this undisturbed. That's what our plan is.
Okay.
Is that what you're asking?
Oh, yeah, should be very protective of our wetlands.
I
and-
agree 100%. Like for instance, when, you know, originally, when I first bought this, I'm trying to see that sideways here. This was the wetland. I think this line here, that was actually the buffer zone. So when we went to develop this, whatever it was, 3 years ago, they made us do a delineation on it, and when the environment came out, they deemed that, no, the buffer zone now is up here. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, there you go.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay. That scared me to death. So this would have actually been the buffer zone down here
Right.
originally, so this was all developable land at the time. And the environment showed up and said, no. We now deem, they shoved everything up 30 meters, so now this is the buffer zone up here, I believe. And anyway, that was my argument with them. I thought, there's no sense fighting with them, because you fight with the government, so I said, I'll wash my hands of it. I said, we're good to go. We got an application, put an application in to work all within the buffer zone on this house. This house is, would be situated up in this corner, I'm assuming. If this line is down here somewhere for the wetland, we would then have to pay Ducks Unlimited, I think it is, to disturb that ground. I think it's 1,500 square meters, I think, give or take. And once you pay them, you can do whatever you want with it. You can develop it, you can lawn it in or whatever. But to keep this portion would be all trees forever and a day. Nobody can touch it.
That's where your septic would be down that,
It wouldn't necessarily, the septic could be over here, I mean, it's.
Okay.
The septic's gonna be, I'm not telling you where it's gonna be.
No.
It's gonna be due to grade.
Yeah.
But I think the septic field is 12 by 15 meters.
Okay.
Rectangle shape, so it's, you know, it's not as big as the footprint of the house, so it's probably tucked right here. It could go right in this area. This would just be lawn in the back.
okay,
And some, I think I also heard somebody that said that about it being wet. You know, I know this is up higher, but this was dry up here. This was completely dry. I mean, there's no water there. There's nothing. That's why I was so disturbed when they deemed all this wetland. I was so upset about it, but I just felt there was nothing I could do about it. And if you look, I won't get out of that. Anyway, we have no intentions of clear cutting down to the line. Like, I don't wanna do that at all.
okay. Thank you. Brenda, Jennifer, go ahead.
The PAC could make a note on, or ask that a note be made on the plan, making it not possible to develop that area past that hashtag, if you will, on the subdivision
Okay.
plan. So you can make that a condition of approval, that that's a no-build zone.
And that's what you were indicating
Yeah,
anyway,
That,
yeah.
that note
That's what
could be
our
made
intention is.
right
Yep.
on. Yep.
Okay. Any members of PAC, now that the applicant's here, could ask any questions of the applicant? None being. Anyone in the audience or online willing to speak for or against this item? Is there anyone in the audience or online willing to speak for or against this item? Third and final time. Anyone in the audience or online willing to speak for or against this item? None being, would a member of PAC like to put a motion for or against with terms and conditions, please? Brent,
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion, the Planning Advisory Committee support the Development Officer in approval of alternate access for the Stephen W. Ryan subdivision tentative plan for the creation of one single or two-family R1 residential building lot not fronting a municipal street, 50 Chamberlain Road, PID 303-42943, subject to the following terms and conditions. 1, approval of the private access for lot 25-1 that does not front a municipal street. 2, the private lane providing access to the fire department should be maintained so as to be ready for use at all times by fire department vehicles, and shall be designed to support the loads imposed by firefighting equipment, and shall be surfaced with concrete, heavy-duty asphalt, or other materials designed to permit accessibility under all climatic conditions. 3, the private lane shall have a clear driving surface width of not less than 6 meters and shall have an overhead clearance of no less than 5 meters. 4, the private lane shall receive regular maintenance to ensure the private access remains compact, smooth, and snow does not reduce road width to less than 6 meters. 5, the private lane should remain clear of vehicles and or any other object that reduces road width. 6, the private lane should not exceed an 8% grade. 7, acceptance at the proposed private lane name of Kenzie Lane. 8, an engineer design for the private lane and turnaround to be accompanied by a stormwater management plan designed and stamped by an engineer licensed by the province of New Brunswick and being acceptable to the town. 9, the requirement of the private lane owners to enter an agreement with the town prior to subdivision plan approval regarding construction, maintenance, and upkeep of the private lane, and provision of the unobstructed access for emergency vehicles. 10, lots 20-1, 20-2, and 25-1 are to be civic addresses from the name private lane. 11, an on-site septic approval is required by the Province Health Act prior to issuance of a development permit for construction of a dwelling unit. 12, a hold harmless agreement is entered into the landowner to protect the town from any liability and to make the property and homeowner aware of the responsibilities associated with the private lane that is not in front of a municipal street, and highlights the concerns for fire, police, and ambulance services and the importance of unobstructed access. 13, a hold harmless agreement to incorporate a clause whereby it is recognized by the eventual landowners that investment made in the construction of the private lane will not be recovered if it is destroyed during construction of a public street to municipal standards. 14, LPP obligations are met through the dedication of land abutting Mud Lake. Any amount of land that is dedicated exceeding 122 square meters, be placed in a land bank for use by Sylvan Holdings for future subdivision LPP contributions. 15, filing fees in the amount of $100 for subdivision plan of 2 lots or less. 16, review and approval of amending Stephen Ryan subdivision plan by the Department of Environment with a copy of any permit and recommendations submitted to the town before the issuing of a building permit. 17, the final plan is to be signed by the property owners and any applicable public utilities. 18, the development of the private lane and turnaround must be completed as per all applicable town bylaws. And there are 2. And 19, the wet zone as defined on the GIS map is to be recognized as a non-development area.
Thank you, Brent. Can I have a seconder on that? Oops, Jennifer first? No? Okay. Mr. Hatfield,
I'll second.
any questions on that motion? Brenda?
Not the motion so much, but is that, it's a private lane, but the house is going to be below it? Did you have to have a hold harmless agreement on that because it's going to be,
Below grade?
yeah, below grade?
It's already there. It's already there.
What is there?
Item 12.
Okay, I didn't get that.
Is that 12? Jennifer?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That will all play out at the time that we receive a building permit application for the house.
Okay,
So when we get the elevations and we understand what they are, then we can apply for that variance. At this time, we don't know what that's going to be. So that will all happen at the time when building plans are submitted for the development of the home.
same regulations for a private lane versus a residential street. It's not,
The bylaws the same.
It is the
Okay,
same. It's written the same, whether it's private or otherwise.
okay.
Thank you. Brent?
I just have a question. There was no mention of a Wawa permit in the, I guess my question is because we're putting in that no build zone, does that eliminate the requirement for potentially applying for a Wawa?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Number 16, review and approval of the
Okay.
amending subdivision plan by the Department of
Environment,
Environment.
that
That
goes
is
to
what that
Wawa?
is for.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. I do have 2 things to note about the conditions. This report was from the previous tentative plan that was submitted. So the number 11, we'll start with that one. It's the Provincial Health Act, that should be changed to the Department of Justice and Public Safety. And number 14, the LPP obligation is actually 585 square meters because the size of the lot has been reduced to 5,850 square meters, so it's 10% of that. So anything over and above that 585 square meters will be placed into a land bank for Mr. Sylphant, and that actually works out to be 5,975 square meters if you wanted to include that in the condition.
You
Changes.
okay with that?
I'm okay with those changes, Mr.
Just the coverage of the surface of the road, the driveway. Could somebody just read to me what that said? I think it just said solid surface coverage, is that correct?
It says, must, designed to support the lows.
Number 3, is it?
No, number 2.
2, okay.
Support the loads imposed by firefighting equipment and shall be surfaced with concrete, heavy-duty asphalt, or other materials designed to permit accessibility under all climatic conditions.
Or other materials
Other materials.
approved by the town.
Okay.
So that quarter minus would.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I've been through this before, that's why I just wanted, yeah, okay.
Any other questions or debate? None being, can we have a vote on that, please? That motion's carried unanimously. In 5 to 7 business days, you have a letter in the mail. Please work with the town. All necessary documentation in place and paperwork, and best of luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm very sorry for coming late. I apologize.
You arrived just in time because we flipped it. We flipped the two.
I was right there.
See you later.
See ya.
All right, we'll move on to 7C, PAC policy review. Jennifer, you're up.
Just let me catch up.
All right.
Where is my staff memo here? Okay, here we go. So this has been a while since I brought this forward to the committee members. And so I'd just like to bring everybody up to speed. So the procedural bylaw for the PAC bylaw, a lot of the changes that are in it are minor language adjustments going from the Planning Advisory Committee down to PAC, or now reflecting emails as being an acceptable means of communication instead of facsimiles. So just bringing the language up to date. I can certainly go through a number of the additions that have been made in the policy. I'll start with we've renumbered it. It's no longer Roman numerals, just regular old numbers. So to make it easy on us all. We've replaced municipal planning officer with development officer throughout the document. We've made minor adjustments. We added, for instance, to section 2B3, notices of decisions from previous PAC meeting, just to make things clear. One thing I would like to point out is that we did add language in this policy under section 8G that provides the PAC secretary with direction on canceling a meeting when there's no new business or inclement weather that may cause an issue with people arriving here safely, us as well as the public.
What number is that again?
8G
Oh,
has
8G,
been
okay.
added, yes. Updated language on how the PAC secretary uploads the meeting agenda on our our meeting management software. So introducing that language to the policy where it wasn't there before.
Go ahead, Brent.
I have a question on
Oh,
8G.
sure.
I have a question on 8G because we've asked this question. See, we're saying there's no business to attend to,
No new business.
but my understanding is someplace along the way, even if there's no items on the, because I know this has come up in conversation and probably need to clarify this, or, so if there's no items on the agenda from the applicants, I know Dwight said several times that we're still supposed to meet to approve the previous notice of the decision, all that, so that some ask our council can move forward. So my question is, and no one seems to be able to answer it, is if it's just basically approving the previous minutes, notice of the decision, et cetera, does that have to be an in-person meeting or can that not be an electronic meeting?
And through you, Mr. Chair. So I did discuss virtual meetings with legal counsel. Their concern was that it's hard to make that available to the public. And he thinks, as do I, that all of the meetings do need to be accessible to the public.
Okay.
So that's why virtual meetings have been removed from the policy. The previous one that was brought forward to you did have that language. You questioned it. I returned to the legal counsel, and the solution would be probably very convoluted if we were to include the public in a virtual meeting. So the decision was made to remove that. I can add the word no new business to attend to, if that would make the committee feel better. I guess what I could say is that with section 8G, it could be a discretion of the PAC secretary or staff for that matter in understanding if there is a notice of decision that would need to be approved by the committee member that may hold something up further down the line, or if you know, aren't really, for all intents and purposes, are nothing pressing that would need to be handled at that meeting. So we could use a little bit of human discretion, I guess, with having direction on how a meeting can be canceled and under what circumstances, so no new business or inclement weather. But if the committee would like to strike that and just have it for inclement weather, we can certainly do that as well.
No, I'm fine with the no new business, but I guess if it's a notice decision, can we not do it by email poll and ratify it at the next meeting? Council just passed that, did they not?
I expect we could do a ratification poll, but again, that's sort of having a meeting that's not open to the public, so I don't think that legal counsel would support that, would be my initial thoughts.
But to me, that's not a meeting, that's ratifying one thing, that's not a meeting. Because we've done it before, things have come forward to us, please ratify, something needs to move forward, we've done it via email, and then we, at the next meeting, it's been put on the agenda and approved.
Because really, for all intents and purposes, a decision is not being made for the notice's decision.
Right.
You're just approving that what was said is actually what was written in those notices, and therefore then they can move forward. So if you want to leave it with me, I can certainly go back to Mr. McPhee and check with him to see what his thoughts would be on that, on a
so is-
ratification.
So is what we're saying, or is what we're trying to get cleared up, I gotta get this clear in my head, so, next meeting, no items. Do we have to have are we here in person? Yes or no? We haven't been in the past, right? Based on this, it says we have to be.
Based on this, section G does give you the flexibility to cancel the meeting.
There is business though, signing the minutes, that's what we're trying to say.
That's what it's,
That's all we're trying to get clarified.
Right.
because you have to approve the minutes, notice of decision.
Well, like I said, I can return to Mr. McPhee to see if that would be acceptable if we did that through a telephone poll or.
But I'm okay, status quo, what we're doing currently.
So
If that makes sense, but according to this,
we're going against
we're going
policy.
against the bylaw
We're going against policy.
And
By
we,
not
and we,
showing-
and we have been.
by not showing up here, that's all we want clarification
Right.
on.
And
That's
that's
it.
what and that's what I was trying to fix, if
Yeah.
you will, with this.
Having to come
section.
in does not make sense to approve the minutes, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what everyone's saying.
Right. So this
I'm
is,
not trying to be tough on you, Jennifer.
absolutely,
I'm just trying to get,
absolutely. And again, this is your policy.
But, but if the legal says that's not new business, we're
Right.
okay, we're
Exactly.
we're doing the same thing.
Exactly.
That's
So
all we need to do.
We could leave it as, that I go back and talk to Mr.
Just ask
McPhee.
him, yeah.
Ask him that question. If he says, yep, that's
Is everyone in
fine.
agreement? Because that's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
Not having a meeting.
Yes.
And just explain that scenario to them.
But we've been not having a meeting and not having the phone conversation either.
But that's what we're saying, don't
Right.
have, just keep status quo, we don't have to have a phone conversation either.
Right.
Bring it to the next meeting to sign the minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Or, we still gotta approve the minutes. I can't come down and sign, we have to approve them at the next meeting or something.
Right, yes.
I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there.
but what's, but again, what does council, so let's say there's council meeting next week. Council says, yeah, we're gonna send it to PAC, but there's nothing else on the agenda, so we don't meet. But it still has to fall within their guidelines, right? Like, there's a timeline council has to follow.
I expect they have a policy on how their meetings are run, et cetera. Yes, of course.
No, what I'm saying though, Jennifer, is, let's say there's a council meeting, they refer something to PAC. And we don't meet because there's no
No other items.
other items.
Does that cause a grief with
But
council?
that would be an item. So it would get sent
Okay,
to the
okay.
PAC secretary and asked to have that placed on the agenda. So that would be an item. So
Okay.
we would definitely
meet.
be meeting under those circumstances.
Perfect, yeah, if you can just ask that, say, here's what, I think to Mr. McPhee, here's what we've been doing. Does that contradict our existing bylaws? If yes, can we change it so that it's still valid what we're doing, or no, he says, no matter what, you have to come in to sign the minutes,
Okay,
which does not make sense, but that's,
And think about it, ridiculous. If you have a meeting, you have to have a meeting to approve, that's the only thing in the agenda, approve your minutes. And you have another meeting with nothing on the agenda, you have that meeting to approve the minutes that had nothing on the meeting.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
yeah. That's all we're saying. We just,
And I absolutely
I
agree
think
with
we're
you
all
all.
agreeing on we're all agreeing on status quo. Just long, we don't want to
So-
violate that.
You would like to have the flexibility to, if there is nothing other than notices of decision from a previous and the minutes from a previous, if there's no other business other than those,
There's no applicants.
no applicants,
No
no decision-making, if you will.
We don't have a
then
meeting.
To see if we can just ratify it through a poll.
Or not even that, just do it, bring it to the
Just
next
wait and
meeting.
do it at the next meeting.
Same as we're currently doing,
Okay,
right? Or if it has to be a poll, great.
But we've ratified stuff.
Yes, from polls before. Yeah,
We did something January, February this year for Dwight, because you
yeah.
had to have something for development, for council. We approved it through email.
Mhm.
And then we ratified it at the next meeting.
I think we're all in agreement. We're not coming in just to get the money. If we don't have to come in, don't come in.
Especially in the summer.
Right?
Or in the winter.
And it's just any time, right, you know?
After dark.
Well, many communities are having monthly meeting, PAC meeting, not bi-weekly like we are. And we're still on the bi-weekly schedule, and many, like Ross is on a monthly, St. John is on a monthly, and I don't know how many more, but.
and we were striving towards that at one point, and I think with the new zoning bylaw that you will
Might.
see that may come into play.
But there was discussion in the past about giving more power to the staff to make decision on variance.
Make that motion, she
things
takes
like
it
that.
back.
Having to come to PAC. I'm not sure where we stand on that now, but I know there was discussion in the past about giving more leeway to, for.
We do use the development officer more in that regard, because he is given that authority under the CPA, the Community Planning Act. So whatever he's available to do, and if it's not contentious, I mean, there's criteria that we have. If he feels, the development officer feels that there's the slightest bit of contention, it's sent to you guys, just because, you don't want to be a lone decision maker on
But
things like
does the
that.
staff can make a decision today on, let's say, on a very minimal, like a 1 meter variance? Or they have to go to PAC?
Gradually.
Again, we are doing more and more through the development
Okay,
officer,
okay.
but we do look at the overall
No, I
application.
understand that, but the staff today has the right.
For some things,
some
yes.
things, okay,
For some things,
perfect.
it's identified in the Community Planning
perfect,
Act,
yeah.
yeah. Though they don't have quite the authority as the Planning Advisory
no,
Committee,
understood,
but,
yeah, okay.
but for setbacks, placements of
Yeah,
buildings,
yep.
et cetera, yes.
Non-controversial item, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Jennifer.
Sorry about that. I also just wanted to highlight 17A and B. Brenda had concerns about that the PA secretary may provide notification. Well, that's been changed back to will on the advice of legal. Although it's written may in the Community Planning Act, that's taken word for word from the Community Planning Act. We did change it back to will just to make sure that it just will happen and everybody will receive their notification for those items. 17G has been added also, where it speaks of the presiding officer. And 17G,
There's no 17G.
There's no such a thing, that's 17, not on mine anyway. Do you have 17G on yours?
17 is giving notice. 18 is voting. F, maybe, where presiding officers other than Chair Wisdom, they shall vote. No? Where? No? D? Oh, it is F.
it's
It is
F.
18F.
18F. I am so sorry. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Chrissy. So we've added some language about sort of the process to take if we do have somebody who shows up who may be slanderous or impertinent to the committee or to members of the public, and, you know, the actions that we will take in asking them to leave. And it goes through it straight to the point where the staff is directed to contact the Canada-Cases Police Department.
Where's that at? Which one's that?
So 18F is right? Oh,
that's
No.
not the one you were talking about.
ow.
Where's the presiding?
Presiding officer and the chair shall vote.
This is just casting a vote. I have no idea what that's about.
You want,
Just bear with me here.
16G.
16G. Thank you, Brent.
There we go.
There we go. So language has been added, my apologies. Language has been added to provide some framework or some direction of what the committee should do in the event that someone is not behaving during a meeting. So I thought that was important to include in the policy as well.
Still got that magic button, or that disappeared? It's right there still, isn't it?
There's still a magic
Show
button.
up with a different response.
If I push it, does someone get zapped, or does it actually work?
And then we also had some language about the chair. It was due to that time that the chair and vice chair weren't available. Someone had to be voted to be the presiding officer, and then we didn't know what to do if there was a tie vote. So
They can
clarifying language has been added throughout the policy so that potential doesn't happen.
Okay, so the presiding officer, talking about voting. So right now, if Mark, if Darren's presiding officer, he votes. If I'm sitting in the vice chair, then
You vote.
you vote. But what I'm saying is we're presiding over the meeting, then not, whoever's presiding over the meeting, if they're chair or vice chair, not to vote, correct?
That's correct, but if it was a member who was
If I
elected
wasn't here,
to
you weren't here,
preside,
he's sitting in, he can vote.
Yes.
That's
but
right.
Right now, is that,
I don't vote unless it's a tie.
that's right.
yes, but are you voting?
Pardon?
Are you voting each time, each thing?
Only if it's tie.
Oh, it's okay.
Yep.
I think before I was vice chair.
So it says, say, and this was from legal, in the event of a tie vote, where the chair is other than the elected chair or vice chair, then the vote dies on the floor. Because the presiding member, the person who is elected to sit as the presiding chair still gets to vote. They don't lose their vote by assuming the chair.
Yeah. I break the tie. If I'm not here, Brent sits up here. He would only vote to break the tie. If for some reason, I'm not here, Brent's not here, Mark sits up, he gets the vote no matter what.
That's right.
And if it's a tie, it died.
That's correct. That's correct. But it's been clarified in the policy.
Probably ask questions also.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think what could be in order is, well, I can take this back to Mr. McPhee and bring it back
I think we should take it back just to clarify.
to clarify that one point. Yep.
Someone can put a motion forward.
Motion that the PAC policy review go back to legal with regarding the meeting, requirement as was defined as requirements to have a meeting under 8G or whatever it is.
Can I have a seconder on that? Mr. Hatfield, thank you. Can we have a vote on that?
Your thought, I can't show you.
Huh? You what now? Am I? It's all right. Perfect. That vote's carried unanimously, so you take that back, Jennifer, and just get that clarification, bring that, maybe, I don't know if you can bring that back next meeting when it's available. Thank you. With that being, we'll move on to item 8, information and discussion items. Can I have motion to receive and file, please? Mark. Seconder, Mr. Guest.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Can we have a vote in that? Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Oh, there's nothing in it?
Nothing in it.
Okay, sorry, I thought there was a check mark on it. Done. We'll move on to item 9, motion to adjourn. Have motion to, Brent, seconder? Brenda,
I'll second that.
thank you. Meeting is adjourned.